of the Plus Weekly Tournament 31 has begun, and let's jump into these picks and bans. So you know what's something interesting? Freizeit, one of the few tamers still going with the tried and true Gyalis. You'll see if it has some success against Rawrzyyy here. But Rawrzyyy playing this team very well. It seems to be the exact same team he's been working with for quite some time here. Obviously a big fan of the Quetzaleno Coige, just because it's so strong. It's almost like if you can't beat him, join him. Rawrzyyy, one of those tamers that likes to play not too meta, but just that fire coige does so much, so he had to squeeze it into his team.
He hasn't changed it since last week, of course. I believe this was the same team he ran in the previous week as well. Again, Freizeit, newer in the scene, running a Gyalis, quite the champion of the people there, at least a champion for my people, the Crystal people. But for the most part, opening with a Grandpa here, just trying to deter a toxic double opening and passing that Gyalis through, maybe hoping for a hook kick, C-bite into the second turn. But yeah, opening with a Grandpa, interesting. Again, just trying to deter these toxic attempts, but Rawrzyyy is not afraid to pick a Roller second.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, something like, I feel like the Quetzal fish, or sorry, the fire fish or the rotor feel pretty good, especially a thick skin rotor won't be taking a lot of damage from this wind typing and Grandpa, so that doesn't feel too bad. But obviously I think the Quetzaleno fish, you get the toxic synergy with water can, you get Quetzaleno for the fire into the Gyalis, which might be really big. Just two of those attack will bring the Gyalis down, so we'll see what Fright has to say about it, because this is an explosive opening. But hey, Grandpa and Gyalis, once Gyalis has that second turn going, can be quite impactful, but maybe not into Rawrzyyy's current board, but potentially a bit down the road.
Of course, there's still a potential pickup here since the Valash was banned instead. Of course, a reasonable ban, both neutral attempts. So we might see the roller pick up, but also at the same time, would you really want to abandon your Volerant and your Golder as well, especially since there's still a Calibus that is in fact picked up now by Freizeit. How you pronounce that? Fright?
Yeah, I believe they were letting us know Freizeit. I didn't get to see the perfect pronunciation from Google, apologies there, but yeah, I hope we're saying it all right. Freizeit, I believe.
We'll go with that. Freizeit. For the most part, yeah. So as expected, so not really playing around Quetzaleno here for the most part. Didn't want to abandon either or. The Golder is just so strong, and, incredibly durable, of course. Not much to deal with it, except again the Grandpa. I think that will be the win condition for Freizeit here if this does go longer. Grumper is picked up instead of the Kinu. Of course, so many toxic attempts, understandably so.
Yeah, not too bad. That Grumper really good into the likes of Volerant if it's not an anaerobic. But let's get into it. Of course, this top 8 cut, it's a best of 3, so not just one game. This is a bit more competitive. They get to adapt to each other. They get to learn that information from those first games. And we'll see. It could just be a clean 2-0. Could be going to a game 3. But first things first, we have to get to game number 1. And here is turn number 1. Let's see what it has in store. So far, Gyalis doesn't have too much business being here. It doesn't have effective damage into either of these Tems. So I'm wondering what a potential swap could look like. Calibus doesn't seem all that bad. We'll see if Freizeit recognizes that. It seems okay for that the second turn. And yeah, it looks like Freizeit did indeed see that one for the second turn.
Rawrzyyy swapping in the Volerant as well, sort of forced here. It's the only toxic Tem on his side that can actually survive by Hypoxia perfectly reasonably well. The water cannon will be shot out. The Grandpa will be taking that punishment. Again, this is the lose condition for the side of Freizeit. The Grandpa going down.
Yeah, as you said, that's his only win Tem that he has so far, or I believe it was. Let me double check here. Let's look at the battle log. Yeah, his only win Tem, and hey, there is 3 toxic Tems on Matchia's team, so protect the grandpa at all costs. You don't have a mental Tem for the Mashuk, you don't have a fire Tem for the Nidrasil. You need this grandpa in order to effectively deal with these 3 Tems, and the fact that it's finding themselves at 50% already, a bit of a dangerous situation. Might not be staying in here for much longer, but we'll see.
Absolutely. This Bowlerin will have to do a lot of damage, though. The Calibus is such a well, it's not such a threat, but the Koish is one of the only non-toxic Temps. So if you want to keep that alive, you're gonna have to play around it. Mashuk will be swapped in here, so the Koish will be kept safe for the time being. The Mashuk swapped in here, but the punish is all going towards that Bowlerin. Wants to expose all the toxic Temps in the back. Once the Grandpa does his job, or at least gets rid of the Bowlerin, it becomes incredibly difficult as well. Actually, as I say that, I almost forget. Grandpa is the only win Tem here, so it going down is actually not a very good thing. Bowlerin 28.2%. The trade does not go in the favor of Freizeit.
Yeah, and Calibus trying to toxic ink that Koi's there, but of course Matchia reading that, bringing in Mashuk, eating it perfectly. No toxic ticks, of course, from that toxic immunity. So well done. Bowlerin, even though effective into Calibus, recognizes the threat that Grandpa bestows onto Matchia's team. So #1 game plan, as we said, you get rid of Grandpa, it makes your life a heck of a lot easier. And is looking good, doing an effective job doing that. So much so, of course, running out of stamina, has to retreat it. And here goes the Grialis, so it should get those turns online, or those hold moves.
Free turbo choreography though, as is allowed. The HKS will be powered up by this as well. Was going for the Grandpa, but will completely miss, and the overexertion onto the Mashuk is going to be incredibly useful. Calibus playing control here, the Bowlerin low, and it's susceptible to a Crystal Bite.
Yeah, so it is going to be an anaerobic Bowlerin. It's only buffing up that special defense, so as you say, really susceptible to that physical damage like a Crystal Bite. The Matchia has to be careful here. It will be able to outspeed the Gialis with that +2 speed, but I don't think it's going to get a confirmed kill that easily. So is it worth it? You lose your Sweatband user. Matchia says no. Returns, out comes that Golder, so not too shabby. Potentially some good Urshul synergy with this Mashuk. Let's see what Matchia has in mind.
Grumper coming in here to try and at least absorb some of that damage, or at least assist the Gialis perhaps. Crystal Bite does come in. The Golder will be taking that in kind. So in terms of overall damage, now I'm gonna actually see Freizeit really struggle to chunk through. Especially, this is I think the strongest wall Matchia can put up against this Gialis. So I'm not sure what the Grumper is meant to do here. Maybe Thunderstrike. Actually instantly swapped out here by Freizeit into that Calibus. So wants to play Poison with Poison. Knows the Calibus will be fairly consistent in this matchup. Uppercut is completely absorbed, of course. And the Hook Kick gonna keep pushing in. The Golder will be fine, but the Gialis certainly will not.
Yeah, it does get the Golder under 50%, so not too shabby. So does the Gialis though. Mashuk, I actually didn't catch what the Mashuk did there, but it was off the Strangled turn. But as you said, Calibus does replace the Grumper that came out. So
uppercut.
Oh, uppercut. Okay, that's why the Gialis got so low. Okay, so it did indeed uppercut. But man, kind of rough. This has always been the problem going against the likes of Matchia. He has so many toxic Tems. Usually toxic feeling good. You know, there's a lot of Koij. Calibus has some water techniques for the fire Temtems. But when you have double, triple toxic on your team, it's such a headache because not a lot of people running that many wind Tems. Or especially, at least not this tournament for sure.
Yeah, especially, and it sort of validates monotyping a little bit more, at least for a team-oriented strategy. Crystal Bite comes out here, of course. A Boulder will be fine with that, but it allows it so that if your opponent only has one wind Tem, you can completely overload that wind Tem. Once again, the Grandpa is too low to really safely swap in. The Golder gets dropped finally to dangerous levels, but will survive. The Gialis will get traded here if it stays in and takes another hit.
Yeah, I mean, I think Freizeit will be okay with that. You get rid of the Golder, which is such a headache to deal with. Sharp Stab will be able, or anything will be able to outspeed. But oh, I'm actually a little worried. Mashuk, being as speedy as he is with that +2 speed, might be a bit faster than the 3 prowess Sharp Stab. You do have to overexert, so you know you're going down. It might be worth, but the question is, are you outspeeding that +2 speed? Double speed, and yeah, Mashuk a bit too speedy, but it goes into Calipus.
Calibus can takes that double gash, of course, finally comes in. So Gaealis has to overexert to do so. Digging its own grave guarantees the kill for sure. Overexertion comes through, actually just trying to control the Mashuk for the time being, but this allows a free swap in for that Volaran, or for really the Koish as well for that matter, because the Calibus is unable to perform.
You know, and although the Calibus is not doing too much damage, Magi only has one effective answer into the Calibus, and that's the Volaran, which has already find himself quite low. But out comes the Fire Koish, which you wouldn't think would be most ideal, but his game plan, it looks like it's gonna be the Hypno onto Calibus. So no toxic inking that Koish slot there.
Gaealis, of course, guaranteed dead, doesn't even bother to swap out in case the Koish was going to go into that damage source. So the Wolfie will come in, but I think the Fire Koish is fine with this. Of course, Quetzaleno on top of an uppercut now potentially available to just severely punish this Wolfie.
Exactly, and although Wolfie does neutral damage into the Koish, we saw it from a previous matchup, about 3 plagues are enough to end the Koish, but sometimes I think 2 Quetzalenos will outdo the Wolfie, so it's gonna be a bit of a tassel here. We'll see. I'm curious to see, because yeah, I mean Quetzaleno not coming into the Calibus, not gonna be doing effective damage, but no, Koish not trying to deal with none of that, instead trying to have an easy read. And uppercut, of course, a uppercut effective damage into the Wolfie.
Plague connects, so the Volaran will get a little bit lower, but then again, the Wolfie already below half HP. The Volaran being trapped is actually dangerous here, because the Calibus can just ditch, and the HKS will completely miss, allowing for that Calibus to actually be, to stay a nuisance at least.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It could get replaced by this Grumper, and Grumper could be enough to end the Volaran. However, Mashuk looking good. Mashuk being at +2 speed, it's effective into Wolfie. We just saw a simple uppercut do over 50% on the Wolfie. It cleans up the Wolfie this turn, which we're seeing it here. So another one. Alright, so the Wolfie not getting too much done on the side. And just a clean Feather Gatling, effective damage. One more of those despite the coat. We'll bring it all the way down. So Freizeit having a tough time dealing with it. And man, the Water Jet almost enough against the Volaran here.
Yeah. Grumper forced in here. Now the potential threat against this Volaran, but I don't think Volaran really minds anymore. He can just trade for the Calibus here. HKS should go first no matter what. Uppercut punish on the Grumper will be soon to follow. And yes, Hypoxia is available on Grandpa. Yes, he has all that entire kit, but Koish is still in the back, and Koish, he's fine with taking a Thunderstrike, at least a single hit to finish off that Grandpa.
Yeah, they're definitely going to try. I mean, Thunderstrike still does effective damage, but Koish also has effective damage as the Grumper, so they get some good trades. The bigger question here, if Grandpa goes down, what is taking care of Nidrasil? Nidrasil hasn't even touched the board this game. I think Magia is having a comfortable time, and as you said, Blue, the HKS going on to Grandpa is a +2 speed, even though it's an anaerobic bird, so does do enough. And as we said, Mashuk, effective into Wolfie, effective into Grumper. So this Mashuk low-key the MVP of game 1.
Yeah, forcing that Thunderstrike off as well. Yes, Chamomile removes the exhaustion that may follow, giving you two more opportunities to Thunderstrike. But 2 Thunderstrikes are not going to kill a Nidrasil, and this Grandpa, Hypoxia might, I mean, by by some miracle, perhaps instinct of the Mashuk, but Mashuk is even faster, so Grandpa will be picked off without getting a word in the matter. Thunderstrike is thrown down onto the Mashuk, trying to pick it off, but it does 20% damage. It's just not sufficient.
Yeah, Magia doing it quite impressively. A handful of Temtem still remaining, exactly 3 to the lonely Grumper still standing, and Magia on a roll. Alright, so it looks like the picks and bans back in. However, are you guys back into the same game, or did you guys really picks and bans that fast? It's still turn 1, so it looks like they did do their picks and bans very, very fast. I hope Freizeit is back in it though.
Yeah, hopefully... Well, the Grandpa did spend stamina, and the Golder is half HP, so...
Okay.
I'm presuming that is a cause. Oh, sorry, I think I'm ahead, actually, on you, since I connected slightly early, and it just fast-forwarded all the animation. Grandpa was swapped in, the Woozle was applied, Manus buff to follow, and Golder is at half HP here, from a Hypoxia shot.
Yeah, I'm all caught up as well. So Grumper does replace the Calibus, so of course instead of the Kinu have something that's really effective into Nagas. The question is, how are you ever getting through? By how it stands right now, Golder always goes first, gets the Bamboozle, and then Grumper's gonna be going. But hey, Golder, as we said, going first, toxicking into that important Grandpa, and the big hitting Naga's Fury.
Oh my god. Absolutely devastating. Freizeit tries to get the trade off. The Grandpa barely survives that tsunami of damage. The Golder, speaking of which, lives the tornado as well. So a zilch trade. The Golder survives, and it's only going to bamboozle itself from here on out. The Naga is more than happy to Psy Surge its way to victory. The Gyalis and the Calibus are swapped in, so maybe not that straightforward.
Exactly, right, as you said, devastating turn of events for Freizeit here. But hey, it looks like he was trying to get off a Grumper attack there. But you know, usually Grumper able to be slower than Nagais, potentially not a tech SV in the speed department. So maybe he'll get one of those in the future. But yeah, Grumper not even to get off a beat there. Double kill confirmed. And hey, Calibus Gyalis, as you said, coming out. So a neutral damage and so big, right? So big damage coming into the Gyalis.
Where's the Gyalis that one-shotted everything? I'm sad. Regardless, Gyalis taking a severe punishment. Now Rolder a direct counter on the field as well. Stone Ball should insta-give the Gyalis. No stamina on the Naga, most likely a swap out here. But yeah, there we go. Swaps out for sure. The Bowler will be coming in now to counter the Calibus in the following turn, and the Gyalis has to leave, has to respect the Rolder swap. Kinu comes in actually to protect the Calibus and as well as absorb that Stone Ball hit. Very smart choice coming out from the side of Freizeit. Does not want to give up just yet. Stone Ball connects, doesn't do as much as expected. Toxic Ink will follow suit. The trade favors Magia again. Unfortunately, Kinu doesn't seem like the tankiest bunch. That Stone Ball did quite a bit of damage still.
Yeah, not too bad. Well, hey, Calibus has a water move online if it is running. I believe you saw Aqua Stone on the rotor, so that's gonna be, or on the Calibus, so could be effective damage on the rotor. But Magia not trying to take a risk, trying to eat that water damage, which is 1/4 damage onto Nidrasil. So let's see how Freizeit went in place. So Nidrasil taking about 20% there, but that noxious bomb trying to budge Kinu for staying in there and punish it. It will. Under 20% it falls.
Toxic Ink connecting on the Nidrasil. Neutral damage, of course, but again, Magia is pretty much on like automatic driving mode right now. Freizeit has to bust open this situation, otherwise this might really be the end for him.
Yeah, we'll see. He looks like to be in a really comfortable position. Kinu most likely goes down this turn, actually going out by sacrificing, so buffing up this Calabash, trying to make it super tanky against the likes of this Voldrin, but Calabash doesn't have too much effective pressure to reciprocate. Alright, and eats it up really well, under 20% right there.
Allergic Spurt as well to follow. Toxic Ink is thrown down. Yggdrasil takes it a little bit, but Gyalis is now swapped in. And now the last two attempts here for Freizeit, looking for the upset at least, to do as much damage as possible. Maybe starting with a Yggdrasil kill, but Gyalis has to survive a couple of hits for that to do so. FG coming out here, focusing on the Calabash actually, ignoring the Gyalis for now.
That is right, so last two attempt, Toxic Skin won't apply thanks to the immunity, but what will apply, that Tri-Apothecary trait will bring the Gyalis down really close. So one more attack, anything of the like, will bring Gyalis, and then it's Calabash versus the world. Yeah, Voldrin could just keep chunking it. I think a couple FGs, maybe 3-4, since it's so tanky. +3 defense thanks to the Kinu buff and the sacrifice will be enough. But yeah, quite the speedy match there. Sharp Stab does get the kill, so Yggdrasil does go down, so not too bad.
FG's to follow. The Calabash taking a little bit more hits, so Gyalis not giving up without a fight. The Calabash as well, still taking chunks and chunks of damage. Toxic Ink connects, but of course Voldrin takes very little damage from that, especially an anaerobic one. The Rolder will be swapped in here. Oh boy. He has execution next turn, after this turn, I believe.
Yeah, I guess it ended in some style execution against the Calabash. That could be neat to see. Let's see if Magia wants to do it in that fashion. So HKS on the Gyalis, no 3 prior move on Gyalis, so it does confirm the kill. Calabash has some water techniques if it wants to overexert. Oh, but the Goring, of course, doing a little damage there.
Water Jet will actually kill the Rolder the next time it performs. However, Calabash did overexert for that, as mentioned. And, oh boy, Magia wants to execute. He's waiting for it. He's waiting for that cooldown.
And yeah, a little BM, a little fan service, however you call it. I think Magia never gets to click the button. Or something weird happened there. So Feather Gatling, Rotor, let's see what goes down. Water Jet is not online. And I think that's what it was. He never gets to click the button. So hey, if you know, call it BM, call it a little fan service, we get the execution for the win. And Magia